character card that we're all going to brainstorm on, and someone pick a setting card. So would you like to pick a setting?
Stephanie, everyone wants to know when the baby's due.
Very soon. About 4 weeks. Okay, so we have a koala bear and a rocket ship. All right? So let's brainstorm quickly on some different characteristics of personality for this koala bear, because this will be our main character. And actually, let's start with the setting. So let's collect some sensory detail about the setting. What could you smell in a rocket ship? Metal, definitely.
Stale
We're just
air.
going to do this together because we have to do it quicker. So metal,
The leather seats.
the leather, yep.
Recirculated air.
Recirculated air.
Some kind of solvents or lubricants or something that's less oily or something like that.
Right?
Sweat.
Sweat.
That's what I was
That's
thinking.
a
Sweat.
in layman's terms, it's sweat. You betcha. There's the smoke after takeoff, right? It would kind of leave a residual.
We hope it's not leaking in.
I'm not sure that the astronaut food would actually have a smell, but you know, maybe. The tang of the.
Frickin' tang.
So, what could you see inside of a rocket ship? Let's talk about what you could see.
The earth below.
You could see the Earth below, definitely.
Depending on the rotation of the capsule, the stars and other heavenly images.
Very good.
Inside the ship, you would actually see lights, hoping that the machines are working the way they should.
Exactly.
And the
Lights.
darkness of space.
The darkness of space. I'm thinking that there would be a lot of buttons. Lots and lots of buttons.
Little lights.
Little lights and screens.
Things floating around.
Dials.
Things floating around, exactly. Random things floating around.
Signs that say do not step.
All right. Okay, so what kind of sensations and motions would you feel inside of a rocket ship?
Weightlessness.
Weightlessness.
Well,
Yeah.
I guess on the blast off, you'd feel the G-forces pressing you into your seat, and then weightlessness.
Yep, so pressure and then weightlessness. Good, wonderful. What might you hear inside of a rocket ship?
Nothing. The hum of the motor, the hum of the engine or whatever it is. A hum.
So be kind of quiet
I
beside
think
you.
he's screaming, saying he didn't belong on this flight.
What am I doing? Okay, that's a good idea. Yes, you would experience vibration. Oh, that's a great sensory detail. So we're collecting sensory detail and kind of painting a picture of this rocket ship and what could happen inside
The
this
sensory
rocket ship.
experience would change dramatically from the blast off to the
To
experience
being in outer
space.
space.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. What kind of things might you taste inside of a rocket ship?
Fear.
Fear. Taste of fear.
Tang, as he said.
The tang.
Yeah, that powdered ice cream.
Yeah, powdered ice cream for sure, right?
Little yucky foods in tubes.
Right.
Mind chatter, just talking about what am I doing here?
Yeah, exactly,
Might
exactly.
feel a bit of your gorge rising at just all that pressure.
Yes.
And you'd hear Earth to the spaceship. There'd be talking back from the
Yeah,
from
communication.
the people from Earth to the spaceship.
Exactly.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah. And what kind of emotions might you experience in space?
Fear.
Or perhaps
Fear.
euphoria. As
Or
you
euphoria, wonder. I definitely think wonder, like looking at the,
A little stressed if something is heard or not what it's supposed to be.
yeah, a little vulnerable, right? Just a tad. There's not a, convenience store that you can pick up whatever you need. Okay, so now that we've kind of got,
How that zero-G works.
what's that?
Say it again, Alton.
Wondering how that zero-G toilet works.
Oh,
Yes. I wonder how that works.
So could talk about like spacesuits, you know, within the rocket ship, you've also got a suit. You can be thinking about those kind of things. This is, again, just a little activity to kind of, you know, whet your palate for what we can do. Okay, so let's talk about our koala bear. All right, so he's our main character, and our main setting is the rocket ship. So this koala is going into space. So, what do you think gets this koala bear into trouble? Let's just generate some ideas.
It's not
It
supposed to
depends
be
on if we're
there.
taking a realistic view or a fantastic view.
It can be a
It's-
fantastic view.
Okay, then he's the crew leader,
Uh-huh.
and his crew is other animals.
Okay, there you go.
It's not big, the kids in space.
Captain Koala.
That's right.
New version of Noah's Ark.
I have a 2-year-old boy who reminds me of this koala, and he loves buttons. So I could see him pushing a lot of buttons all the time, right? So maybe he's a captain, maybe he's a crew member, and
Maybe he's a stowaway.
maybe he's a stowaway. Maybe he's
You
a
know,
stowaway.
koalas eat a very limited diet.
Right.
I don't know how he's gonna do it.
Powdered
I believe it,
eucalyptus,
yeah,
and
it's
it's
just-
pandas.
Right.
No, these guys aren't these guys eat
You
just
could, you know,
Well, maybe he's not into
dehydrated
pandas,
eucalyptus.
giant pandas.
That's not gonna be very fun.
Well, it depends on whether he
Bamboo
really
is the
was
bamboo.
scheduled to be on the spaceship, or if he
These are
saw
cool.
the
These are the
spaceship
koalas.
and wandered on it,
And just wandered on.
and
Exactly.
started pushing the buttons in.
And for all of you, it might be a little bit different. Normally, when I do this activity, everyone has their own character and setting. So for whatever it is for you is totally fine. If he's a stowaway, if he's the captain, if he's like a best buddy of the astronaut, it doesn't matter. So okay, so let's talk about what does this character love? What does our koala bear love? What could it love? He or she love?
Hugs.
Hugs. Yep. Definitely.
Other koalas.
Other koalas.
Space.
Uh-huh. This koala could love math. I mean, it could happen. Anything can happen in a story, right?
The tree that he likes to see.
He likes to kind of hang on to a tree. He likes kind of that security, right? So weightlessness might not go very well for him, right? Okay. What motivates him? Hunger. Hunger. That's great.
Sense of adventure.
Curiosity, sense of adventure. Very good. Okay. What is something that this character does well? What could our koala bear do really well?
Sumo wrestling.
He could do sumo wrestling really well, and that's maybe why he feels so comfortable in an astronaut suit. He just
Climbing, he might be able to climb out and take care of things out there on that wing.
Oh, that's
right. He's got those good claws to like kind of keep himself stable. Used to being secure. And pushing buttons. I know, for sure my koala bear, I'm like, oh, he's got to push buttons.
That's how he got up there.
Now, physical pushing buttons or emotional pushing buttons?
Maybe both. All right. So what kind of speech characteristics could this koala bear have?
Slowly.
He could speak slowly.
An
Maybe
Aussie
a
accent.
Kind of an ADD koala.
He could be an ADD koala, yes.
Aussie accent.
An Aussie accent. There you go. Perfect. Yep. He might speak a little bit like a 2-year-old to me, since he kind of reminds me of my 2-year-old. Any other ideas? Okay.
Well, he was very well trained as an astronaut, so he's
Right.
probably got multiple degrees in
Astrophysics.
Big vocabulary.
Exactly. So he could. That would be hilarious, actually. A koala bear with an enormous vocabulary. It'd be great.
Storytelling degree.
And a storytelling degree. He's got everything from astrophysics to storytelling.
15-hour training.
Exactly.
And once he gets back down there,
Okay, So these are some kind of springboards on developing character. And now I want you to think of somebody you know that might remind you that you could maybe infuse some of their personality characteristics. So just take a second and think about someone you know that you could kind of use some of their personality characteristics with this koala bear and some of the things that we have generated together as a group.
Rachel, do you remember Don Wilhelm
Oh,
from the Change Leader program?
yeah.
He's my father.
All right. Okay, and what we're going to do now is something that I've developed called a guided story journey. Have any of you ever had an experience doing a guided imagery, where you close your eyes and someone guides you through some images? It's used for relaxation techniques and things like this. So I created guided story journeys by taking folk tales and the bulletproof structure of a folk tale. You know, they've been around for hundreds of years, and so they've got great bones to them, great structure. Strip them of all of what makes them a folk tale in a particular area and made it into a journey that you close your eyes and imagine your character in your setting experience the plot. And so that's what we're going to do now, is go ahead and close your eyes, and I want you to just get a little picture of your koala bear. And your koala bear may look different than your neighbors, and that is okay. Your rocket ship may look different than your neighbors, and that is also okay. There are actually no wrong ways to do this. So I want you to get a picture of your little koala bear character, and in your mind, and I want you to look at the rocket ship through your character's eyes. Look up and down and around. You smell what you might be able to smell, listen, any kind of sense of movement that's going on. All right. Now you can see that your character, keep your eyes closed, and we're going to experience the plot now. You can see that your character is hungry. Your character is looking for something to eat. Now, when your character finds that something to eat, just about as he's just about to eat it, suddenly a nose appears, and two eyes, and a mouth. Now, kind of describe in your mind what that looks like for whatever your character found to eat. Now that food item that has suddenly transformed says, "Don't eat me, and I'll give you a wish." What might your character, what might your koala bear wish for? The food item further explains, if you don't eat me, not only will I give you a wish, but you can come back anytime and get other wishes. All you have to do is this. Now, for each of you, that may be different. It might be a little rhyme, a song, a chant. Now your koala bear asks for his or her first wish. Imagine that wish in your mind, what it is. Your character hides that food item and enjoys interacting with whatever your character wished for. But as wishes do, this one wears off in its excitement, and your character decides that he or she wants another wish. So watch as your character does the summoning, and the food item changes once again. And what might your character wish for this time? Let the images come to your mind. Pay particular attention now to how your wish materializes and how your character interacts with it. Your character continues to enjoy that wish and decides, really, life would be so much better in a rocket ship if there was just one more wish. So watch your character summon the food item once again and wish. And what will it be this time? And how does your character interact with this wish? Now it's speeding up, and your character enjoys the wish for even less time, even though it's the biggest wish he's wished yet. And your character wants another wish. So watch again as your character creates the food item by summoning it and asks for yet another, even bigger wish. Think of what that wish might be. But this time, you see the food item, look at the character, and say something along the lines of, your wishing has come to an end, for you will never be happy with what you have, but always want more. And the food item changes back into the food item. And when your character turns around, all of the wishes are gone that he had wished before. And kind of zoom in on your character's face. And what might your character find to be happy about in that situation? Okay, so go ahead and open your eyes. Like I said, this is a short and condensed version, right? But would anyone like to share some of the images that came to your mind about your character and the story that he just experienced or she just experienced? Yeah.
Sure. The rocket was going to the moon, and he was going to be the first koala to walk on the moon.
Uh-huh.
So he got out, walked around, and then he got hungry, and so he went back in, and they had packed sugar cane for him to eat. So he grabs the sugar cane, and this female image called Sugar Cane materializes and says, I will grant your wish. And so he wishes for succulent bamboo shoots. And he starts eating them, and then his second wish is for a companion koala to share the bamboo shoots with him. And so that materializes, and then he wishes for a bamboo forest in which they can just roam and eat whenever they want.
Should be really charming inside of a rocket.
Well, he's thinking
On the
underneath
moon.
a canopy on the moon,
Ah,
with
gotcha.
atmosphere and everything, so
Cool.
that's what they.
Okay, anyone else would anyone else like to share? Because I bet you no one else has images like that, right? That's what happens. It doesn't even have to be a complete story, just some images that you experienced.
Well, the koala originally got hungry and saw a pumpkin. And as he was about to bite into the pumpkin came alive and told him that he could have his wish. And so he asked him, what would you rather have? And the koala said, I'd like a tube of eucalyptus jelly. And that was granted. And after he ate that, he asked him for a second meal. Asked him what he wanted, what he would wish for next. And he said, I'd like some eucalyptus ice cream. And then afterwards, lastly, he wanted a eucalyptus soda. And then after it was all said and done, he got sick. And he wished that he hadn't had anything.
So, did anyone imagine the koala wishing for something besides food? You did?
Yep.
What did your koala wish for?
I want to go home.
He wanted to go home.
So he actually wasn't from this planet.
Mine was
Okay, there you go.
Mine was the little one that was curious and found it and pushed the buttons and went up. And he wanted food first, then he wanted a companion, then he wanted his mommy. And then he wanted to come home.
And then he wanted to come home. Yes.
I had, the first wish was, fill the cabin with eucalyptus leaves, but then the second wish was to have longer legs to be better able to reach all the buttons. And then the third wish was for velvet purple upholstery. And then the fourth wish was for that companion.
Fabulous. That's wonderful. So my koala, because I can simultaneously do this now, he wanted a playground inside the rocket ship because he was kind of bored and thought that, this whole anti-gravity thing would be interesting with a slide and a playground and swings and things. And so, and he kept adding things to it, and the rocket ship was very full of playground equipment. So you can see that every person kind of comes up with something different, and this is, like I said, a very supported and easy way to get into your imagination and learn how to create with images. You never, at least once you learn how to create with images, you never have to stare at a blank screen again, right? You never have to look at it and be like, I have no idea what I'm gonna write. I have no idea what story I'm gonna put together, because you can generate all of that in your imagination, and actually, the more you practice this skill, the more sensory detail you're able to pull in, the more things that come in both terms of symbols and sensory detail and characterization, and all of this comes within your own mind, and then it's just a matter of getting it out, right? And so it's a really fascinating technique and a wonderful technique in creation of stories that works both for imaginative stories and for personal stories, for memory, you can use this for problem solving. It's kind of across the board, something that you can use for everything. So, and like I said, this is just a little taste of one of the many ways that you can teach it, but the point, the class would be, to have some of these kind of things, so depending on what age group and how much time you have to work with that age group, you have a lot of skills on helping them access images. Our world today focuses on showing people stuff. We don't have a lot of things that actually help people generate the ability to, or help people to generate the images that they need to solve problems, to see how a choice will affect them later on down the road, even just to imagine a novel as you read it, right? If you can't get kids to, in their imagination before they're reading a higher level, they'll stop reading. So it has a lot of really wonderful applications, as well as it's a generative activity. So when you experience this, even as an adult, it kind of generates energy, really. So it's really great. So what kind of questions might you have for me?
Well, what we're gonna do, because I'm looking at the time,
Uh-huh.
what I'm thinking is gonna be best at this point, because we do need